Alright, today we're going to be making a fidget spinner designed after Overwatch, Genji's weapons. Right here I'm taking apart an old kid's skateboard just to get the bearings out of them. The bearings on this particular skateboard, they have an edge on them, which I will have to grind that off in order to use them. But I didn't want to spend any money, so this is actually me grinding off the edges. I use a more coarse grinder on at the beginning just to get it grounded down real quick, and then I switched over to more fine. After grinding, I also sanded down the edges. Right here, I actually sanded around the edge of the bearing as well as the sides of the bearing. The reason I sanded around the edge was hopefully to get a little more grip whenever I put some super glue on it. Here I was using a scrap acrylic sheet that we had laying around. It was actually the perfect width, but I should not have drilled the hole first. I did learn that later. I wasn't thinking that one through. But it worked out in the end. Because what I did was I printed out a 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch equilateral triangle. That means it's equal on all sides, 60-degree angle on each corner. And I had to try to figure out how to center it up with that hole in the middle. So what I did is measure each side, and I found the midpoint for each side and marked it. By finding the midpoint like this, I was able to draw a line from the midpoint over to the opposite corner on each one of these, and it gives me the perfect center location. As you can see here, all the lines intersect in the middle, and that's where the center holes should be. Again, I should have done this before I drilled the hole and done it on the acrylic itself. But I did find the midpoint, and that allowed me to outline the equilateral triangle all the way around. At first I was a little unsure at this point to make sure that I had found the center and everything was right. I did take my ruler and just double check the measurement from the center point to the outer edge, but it was correct. Right here I just outlined the outline of the bearing in the middle. That way it gave me a reference of where to drill the hole and how large of a hole I needed to drill. And from that point, I'm going to be doing a lot of drawing on this. um, basically to get my basic shape of what I want the fidget spinner to look like. And again, I'm designing this after Genji's weapons on Overwatch. So they're supposed to look kind of like a throwing star. Although the weapons that Genji has in the game are actually a little thinner, with this acrylic I did not want to go too far in. If you notice, I measure a 1/4 inch from the sides on this one, and then drew the angle to get the angle of the edge of the blade. I didn't want to go much further than that because I didn't want the acrylic to be weak. After drawing all 3 of those sides there, the next thing I outlined the indentions at the bottom of each of the blades using a pin lid. It actually worked out really good, but it gave me the same curve on each of the corners there. Here I was having to wash out the bearing with some soap and water. When I had done the grinding, it actually got a lot of dirt and grime inside the bearing, so it didn't turn as well. Washing it out with soap and water worked really good. It took a little bit to wash it out, but then after I washed it out, I just made sure to spray some WD-40 in it really well. And after that, they spin really good. Just make sure that if you do wash those, make sure you use some kind of lubrication or oil, 3-in-1 oil, something like that would be great. Put in there. It'll keep those bearings moving good. Here I've begun to cut out the basic shape. I'm going by the inside lines, obviously, to get more of the star shape. Each of the curves at the bottom of each blade, I actually used a drill bit to cut those out. I don't have those on video, but that's how I got that. And I used a bigger drill bit right here to drill out the center. I actually used a small one that was a little bit too small right here. Then I used a bigger one to drill it out more. That's all I had at the time. It did make it a little large, but I'll explain that in a minute. This is the sanding down some bevels for each blade, just to make it look more like a blade. And I sanded the corners down just a little bit, just so it wouldn't be too sharp. Right here I'm super gluing it in, and if you'll notice there's a black line around there. That's actually electrical tape, and it worked really good for holding it in there. And with the super glue on top of the electrical tape on both sides, it doesn't come out at all. I got impatient and decided to spray paint it, even though it was dark out. After spray painting it, I used acrylic yellow paint and a Sharpie to outline everything as far as the design on the star. And this actually worked really good. Just finishing up all the outlines, and then once I got all that done, let it dry a little bit. It actually works good. I did go in after this, even though it was painted on there. I wanted to make sure the acrylic paint had sealed, so I took and put a coat of clear coat on top of this. hope you all like this video. Right here is the final product with the clear coat on it. Like I say, it worked out great. My son likes it, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me any comments if you have any other suggestions, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.